And I really quickly learned that the only thing that they can't steal from me is a relationship that I have with my community. So then Tracy's done an unboxing and I was like, this is insane. Like, this is so exciting. My mental health and my physical health was really starting to decline because I wasn't sleeping. My key mantra for life is probably create the things you wish existed, because I always just think that things aren't accidental.
Hey beautiful, welcome back to the Kia Convos podcast. This is a space for all things wellness, self-care and empowerment. I'm your host, Kate Amwa, and today our guest needs no introduction. We have the gorgeous, talented, amazing Jamelia Donaldson.
Oh, thank you.
How are you? Thank you so much for coming down.
Oh, you're welcome. I know that this is long overdue.
I mean,
so long overdue. So I'm glad that we're finally making it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure most of our audience know who you are, but I like to always kick off asking my guests to introduce yourself and let us know a bit about who Jamelia is.
Sure. So as mentioned, my name's Jamelia Donaldson and I'm the founder of TreasureTress, which is Europe's largest product discovery service for textured hair. And who I am outside of work, I would say that I'm a curious person. I'm someone that loves traveling. I'd like to describe myself as a loving person. But ultimately, I'm really big on like just learning, expanding like the limits or stretching the limits of what I think is possible for life, for creation. I care deeply about Black women and like our experiences. And so a lot of the work that I do through TreasureTress is about ways of changing the experiences that we have in the world as Black women, especially when it pertains to beauty. But equally, I like creating fun experiences. So whether that's through like eventing and like big activations or more intimate brunches or conversations like these, I'm really big on like, when I learn things, also making sure that I pass it on and I teach so that collectively everyone can evolve and grow together.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so I want you to take us back and let us know what initially birthed your passion and desire to start TreasureTress.
If I take you back, I'm taking you way back.
Oh, take us back.
So when I think it probably started when I was maybe about 4 and I was on holiday with my mum and my brother. And my mum was I think she was like in the kitchen cooking with like one of my aunts or my uncles. And me and my brother were on the balcony and we were playing barbers. Okay. And I mean, playing barbers with him is a different thing because if I cut his hair, nothing happens. But he literally took a plait of mine and cut it. And then I went to my mum so excited, like, Mum, look. And she was like, what have you done? Oh, wow. And I feel like that was probably the first time that I understood the significance of hair. Because up until then, I just didn't care about it. And then I became really curious about it. And I used to spend a lot of time in my bathroom, like reading the body and the hair products to see like, what are the ingredients? What are the usage instructions? And I always used to find it so interesting that the bottles would say, use a dime size. And then when my mum would do my hair, she would use a completely different amount of product. And I was like, something isn't quite making sense here. Then as I was like going through my preteen stage, I was always the smallest. So I used to be really short and I didn't develop until really late. And so I looked very much like a child for a very long time. And so, you know, when you're like preteen, you want to look a bit older. And I always equated looking older with straight hair. So I started straightening my hair when I was like 14 and I kept straightening it up until I went to uni. And then it dawned on me one day that I was like straightening my hair, but my hair wasn't ever growing in length. Like my hair was stuck at this length. And I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like if I thought I was taking care of my hair, if I'm washing my hair regularly, why is it not growing? And then I realized that I was ruining my hair because I was literally shampooing my hair, blow drying it and then straightening it. And all I was doing was applying oil so that my hair could be dead straight. And it looked dead straight. Yeah. And it was fried. And then I was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, why doesn't black hair grow? So I went to Google and I typed in, why doesn't black hair grow? And I came across all of these American blogs and like virtual spaces of black women with not necessarily long hair, because I don't think that is the metric for healthy hair, but they had really healthy full hair, various different ranges, various different textures. And I was like, whoa, I've not seen anything like this in the UK. And the things that they were saying, like the importance of deep conditioning, the importance of leave-in conditioners, focusing on the ends of your hair. I was like, this is all like completely new to me, and I can't be the only one that doesn't know this. So I abandoned the straighteners and I started embracing my natural hair. And I remember one of my friends saying to me like, oh, Jamelia, are you coming out with your hair like that? Because my hair was still in that awkward transition of like, I've got heat damage, but I'm trying to do a braid out. It doesn't look good. But I was like, yeah, like this is just a phase that I have to go through to restore my hair. Now all of my friends are natural, so it's a bit of a flex. But then what was the next phase after that? So I'm in university, I'm locked in on YouTube. Like anything that they recommend, I'm buying. So I'm going on Amazon, I'm ordering these things, but I'm ordering from Amazon.com because the products weren't available in the UK. And so when I'm ordering from Amazon.com, I'm paying for shipping and I'm also paying for customs. So effectively, I'm spending upwards of £80 a month on hair care as a student. I wasn't even spending £80 a month on food. I didn't have that. So the fact that I was like, I don't even know where I was getting that money from. But the fact that I was able to find £80 to pay for hair products, you know that I was serious about this mission. And then it was time for me to take an internship. And the first place that I went to on that placement year was Beijing. So I've got to Beijing, it's super humid, but I'm like, it's fine, I've got my products. Then I ran out of products and I lost my brush. And I was like, right, what can I do? I went to a Russian supermarket across the road from the apartment complex because I was like, surely I must be able to find something for my hair. I knew I wasn't going to find the brands that I use, but I just felt like maybe I can find an equivalent. And obviously there was nothing of its sort in the Russian supermarket in the middle of Beijing. So I had to buy a shoe brush. I bought like a really, really cheap gel. And you know them gels that you used to get in like the sweet shop for like £1 that are just water? I had to get one of those. And then I got like Head and Shoulders conditioner. And I went back and I tried to do my hair and obviously it was a flop. So I don't have any pictures from that segment of the trip because I looked absolutely crazy. But equally, it dawned on me that if you don't live in a major city, especially in the UK or the US, then there's not much hope as a Black woman for taking care of your hair. And then coincidentally, well, not coincidentally, my next internship was in New York. And I was like, this is the complete opposite to China. Every product that I could think of, products that I hadn't heard of, ingredients that I'd never even come across were all available in the aisles of these shops. And then I looked back at the UK and I was like, we have none of this. Like at the time we had maybe 3 brands in the major high street stores. And I was like, this is crazy. It's actually not fair. And equally, when I was in New York, the subscription box business model was starting to boom. So there were subscription boxes for hair care, sweets, socks, beauty, everything, including Black women. And then again, I looked back at the UK and I was like, we have absolutely nothing. And so I made a promise to myself that if I got back to the UK and there wasn't a subscription box specifically for natural hair, then I would create it. Didn't know anything, like did not know how to source a box, did not know any beauty brands, I had no network whatsoever. I didn't know a person, but I was like, I think it's that thing of being like really young and naive. You're like, I can do it. Like, why not? So I got back to the UK and reality hit in that I had been interning for free for a year. So I had like rinsed my savings and I had no money. So I thought, okay, before I build this business, I actually need to replenish my bank account. So let me get a job or an internship that will pay me well so that I can actually have money to breathe and then I can start this business in due time. So I got a internship in financial services at an asset management firm. Had no idea what asset management was again, but I just know how to figure things out. So I was like, if I can pass an exam, I can pass an interview. So I just studied for the interview like I was studying for an exam, got through the interview, got the internship. They asked me to stay for 2 months more. And then eventually they offered me a graduate position for once I graduate. And considering that I had like really struggled to find corporate internships before I went to Beijing, it felt like an opportunity that I couldn't decline because I had zero success finding corporate internships in the UK when I was looking for them. So to be handed a graduate role was a really big deal. So I went to uni, finished my degree at Aston, and then came back and started the graduate scheme. And year 1 was intense but cool because like they're still quite gentle with you because you're an intern, well, because you're a grad, sorry. Year 2, things were getting a little bit more challenging because you're moving between the different teams and you're learning about the various parts of the business. And by year 3, I was like, this is great. Like the people here are so clever. It's a great environment. It's a great like career starting point. But I just didn't feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing. Okay. And I just couldn't get rid of the idea of TreasureTress. So I was like, I've got this idea. I think I can make it work. If I don't try it now, I don't know when I will. So really long story short, and I'm sure we'll get into the details later, but I handed in my notice and started running TreasureTress full time from there. But I had already launched TreasureTress while I was there. And I was doing like customer service emails in my breaks. I was pitching to brands in my breaks. It was very scrappy. But I got to the point where I had to quit because my mental health and my physical health was really starting to decline because I wasn't sleeping. I was sleeping maybe like 3 hours a night, because I was working till really late and then waking up really early. And the rotation that I was in required me to be in the office from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So outside of that, I was building the business. Yeah. So I just thought, this isn't sustainable. Something has to give. And it felt like I could always get another job, but I don't know that I would always have an opportunity to build a business. Yeah. So I thought, let me try this thing and see what happens.
And the rest is literally history.
Yeah.
Was it always called TreasureTress when you first launched?
It was, actually.
Where did the name come from?
The name came from wanting to express what happens when, as a woman, you decide to embark on a natural hair journey. Because I didn't expect that coming face to face with the natural texture of my hair would also bring up so many things about my identity. Yeah. And it made me really think about, like, what is this beauty standard that I was trying to attain and where did it come from? What do I think about myself? I say that I love like Black beauty, but I was doing everything to like straighten my hair and hide my texture as much as possible, essentially. So, and then I started to think about what am I putting in my body? Like I started eating better. I started working out more. I started drinking more water, all in the name of having healthy hair. But for me, it was like, how can I embody the journey that you go on when you start taking better care of your hair? And a treasure chest was like the perfect analogy because like once you open up, you realize that there's gold inside. And it's like once you open up and you start developing self-awareness and you start wanting to take better care of yourself, like it is like an endless pot of treasure. And so I was like, treasure chest is interesting. Tress is a synonym for hair. So let's go with TreasureTress. And yeah, that was the inspo behind the name.
Yeah. Do you remember what was in the very first box you launched?
I do. It was Palmer's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was there. I can't remember exactly what the product was called, but it was a shea butter formulation and they were launching it for the first time. And so we helped them launch it for the first time. And I know it was Palmer's because they were the first brand that actually, they reached out to me, which I could not believe because we had only a few followers at the time. But equally to this date, they're one of our most valued brand partners for that reason because they've literally been with us since day one.
So at the point when they reached out to you, what had you put in?
What had I put in place? So there was an online form that you could go to through hitting the link in our bio. We had done a photo shoot to like launch the concept, and I had already started sourcing boxes. Okay. So we did already have the box. We already had like the community, a couple hundred people. We had the Instagram page. We had the email list, and so when they reached out, it was a big deal because I think the way that brand partnerships work is that once you have one big name, everyone starts paying attention. Mm-hmm. So for us to have Palmer's from the get-go was really powerful for us. Yeah.
At what point in the journey did you get to when you realized, okay, I've actually got something here?
I think it was probably when we done our first in-person event.
Oh, okay.
We done an event called Mummy and Me Afternoon Tea because when I launched TreasureTress, I launched it as a box for little girls. I didn't expect it to be for older women. I wanted mums to buy it for their daughters because in my mind, I thought if I had known how to take care of my hair in its natural state as a child, I think I would have had a different relationship with beauty and a different relationship with my hair. And I wanted younger Black girls, younger mixed race girls, younger girls with curly hair to have that self-confidence from the get-go. Yeah. And so I thought, let me launch this Mummy and Me Afternoon Tea. It was held in Covent Garden. I made absolutely no money, definitely lost money on it. But it was so worth it because of the imagery, the connections, the relationships, the feedback. And I think that was the first time that I was able to like visually see the impact that I wanted to have, where it was like a room of little Black girls with all different types of hair, all different shades, having fun, learning about their hair, and their mums like constantly reiterating how powerful this event is and how significant it is for their daughters. And that for me was validation of, okay, this is work that is actually worth doing. Yeah.
Let's talk about TT events because that is such a major thing about your brand that I love. I mean, I love the
thank you.
concept, I love the subscription model, etc. But your events are always just, they're a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Spectacle. Like they just go, you go big, or go home, basically.
Yeah, that is a rule.
I think the first one I went to is when you had the TT house.
Oh, home of TT.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite ones.
Where did this come from?
I think it was born out of, again, frustration.
Okay.
Because for so long, I just used to look at what mainstream beauty brands would do for their customers and their community, and then look at like the events that were thrown for us. And I'd be like, why is there such a disparity? Like, theirs are cute. Why do we have to settle for like a tablecloth and a pull-up sign? Like, why can't we have all of the bells and whistles? Why can't we have the impact? Why can't we have the spectacle, as you mentioned? Like, why can't we have that experience? And what's that telling us about ourselves? Versus what it tells other consumers when these brands spend big money to have these experiences for them. Why can't we also have the same experiences? Yeah. So for me, it was like, how can I challenge myself creatively? How can my team challenge themselves creatively as well? And how can we create the things that we wish existed? Yeah. Like, as a child, I would have loved to go to Home of TT because I would have loved to see so many different products, so many different brands, experience them, speak with people that have similar interests. Like, I would have loved that experience. So it was like, how can we create something that we wish existed and is significant for our community so that they feel like, wow, this brand is different because we've never done anything like this before.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely something you guys have championed and continued to lead with. Like, I love it. All the time I'm thinking, oh, I wish I could be this creative. I love it. It's like, yeah, that's your thing. You know it's a TT event when you see.
Yeah.
I see people working out, doing exercises and long jumps. I see lockers. I remember the hotel one. That's when I bought the youngest.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
I always say that the events are so important for me because, like, when you run an online business, I think it looks glamorous, but in reality, I'm just on my laptop. Yes. Like, all I'm doing is sending emails and on calls. So it's not until events that I'm able to see, like, oh wow, these are the people that we're serving, or oh wow, this person's been with us for this amount of time and we've helped them along their hair journey in this way. Or I think another upside of the events and being able to be creative is the amount of Black creatives that you get to work with as well. Yeah. And it's like, wow, we get to work with this person, or we get to work with that person, or we get to challenge someone on the team that didn't think they could do something and create something a lot bigger than we all suspected. So I think in real life, events are like a really good reminder of the purpose and the why. Yeah. And it's impossible to get that energy through sending emails and being on online calls.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say are the biggest challenges you faced so far on your journey?
Validating the existence of Black women in the UK was by far the hardest thing. Wow. Because no one believed that, I mean, I'll say no one believed that we were like worthy of the marketing that they put into other products. So when I first launched, I was approaching brands in the US and they were like, listen, the UK is not a priority. Like, are there even Black people in the UK? And I was like, yes, there are. Like, we spend a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, I didn't have anything to back that up. Yeah. And then equally, when I was speaking to brands in the UK who could serve Black women, it was like budgets. But I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, you're saying budgets, but Black women spend so much on beauty. So if your budget's not going to Black women, then where are you putting it? Yeah. And I always say that when a new mascara is being launched, the amount of money that is spent to put that on buses, on billboards, on TV, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, why is that same energy not matched when it comes to Black women? Yeah. Like, when you're launching a product for Black women, where's that energy? Mm-hmm. So the biggest challenge was most definitely validating our existence in, I wouldn't even say in the market. I guess it is in the market. Yeah, validating our existence in the UK and then the power that we hold in the market. And that's what led us to release the first white paper, because I was like, I have to quantify this. Yeah. It's not until I can put a number to this that I can say to a brand that you're missing out on X amount of money, or this is how much we spend in comparison to our counterparts, or this is how we show up versus how African-American women show up. Like, I needed hard data. And so that frustration led us to creating that white paper.
Yes. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that was my next point.
Oh, good.
What was the process like putting that together? Because it was like getting the data. Let's start there. How did you go about that?
Do you know, I actually have to shout out Maz of Translate Culture, because we were having like a casual conversation. We used to have, our offices were in the same building once upon a time. And we were just talking, and I was talking about like my frustration and the fact that I wanted to do something like this. And he was like, which data do you have? And I was like, well, to be fair, we've been like taking responses from our customers from day one. So we actually do have a lot of data. I just don't know what to do with it. And that was the thing that kicked it off. And it was like, right, cool. We'll work on this together. We'll work through the data. We'll organize the data. And yeah, we'll put something out to the industry that truly shifts things. So for me, it was like a selfish pursuit, because I just wanted to be able to pitch. I wanted my pitches to be stronger. Like, I couldn't keep saying like, there's black women in the UK and we like trying products. I had to say like, we're 2% of the population. So we're tiny, but we account for 10% of the spend on beauty. So we over-index massively. And I needed those numbers so that I could make that statement. And so when it went live, I didn't expect it to have the impact that it did. And I didn't expect the corporations that downloaded it and paid attention to it, I didn't expect them to. But obviously it paid massive dividends in like helping our B2B relationships. But that it wasn't my intention to serve them. It was my intention to serve us and make sure that we could get banging brands in the box and prove to them that it's worth the investment kicking off your marketing in the UK, because we have money to spend and we're small, but we're powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Did you notice once you released that there was a difference in terms of your relationship with some brands prior and then post release?
For sure. I think there's like an interesting dynamic when you're a young black woman and you launch a business, because I think there is a stage when like everyone launches a business and then people just expect that after a few years it's going to disappear. Or there's this thing of like just being respected as a businesswoman when you're young and you're a black woman. It can be a bit of a challenge. And I think where I've always maintained such close proximity to our community, I think it's great for TreasureTress as a brand. But I think for other brands looking in, I do think it sometimes made them think that we were a little bit junior and maybe a little bit too infant for them to truly take us seriously. Sure. And so my intention with the white paper as well was to shift the perspective to know that as much as we have this community that we are a part of and that we created, we're also thought leaders and we're actually experts. Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to dial up the professionalism through the report to say, like, as much as you can see that this is a brand that's culturally relevant and connected to community, this isn't a hobby. Like, this is a real business and this is what we're able to create. And if you work with us, these are the issues that you're going to be tackling as well. Yeah,
definitely. On the whole thing of brands, I know you love all the brands that I've got into each of them.
Equally.
Disclaimer. Is there a particular brand that maybe took a bit longer to get in, so you were extra excited, or you never thought would maybe see the relevance, and then when they came on board, you were extra excited? Is there just one brand that was like, yeah, I definitely wanted to secure them?
There's not just one, there's quite a few.
Okay, sure.
So the first one was probably Pattern.
Okay.
Like when...
Yeah, that was a big...
Yeah, and interestingly, they downloaded our white paper and that's what really got things going. Okay. And so when I saw that they had downloaded it, I was like, this is interesting. And then we got an email from them, and then things evolved and we done the box, they done pop-up with us, and then Tracy's done an unboxing, and I was like, this is insane. Like, this is so exciting. So Pattern for sure. Sacred by Beyonce, we featured it in our advent calendar last year. So that was...
Oh,
it featured Sacred, and we also featured House Labs, which is Lady Gaga's brand, in the advent calendar. We're doing advent calendars again this year, so they sold out in pre-sale last year. They're definitely going to sell out in pre-sale this year, so get on board.
Okay. I'll set an alarm.
Please set an alarm. So Sacred, and then most recently tomorrow, actually, well, I'm not sure when this will go out, but tomorrow I'm hosting a fireside chat with the founder of The Do.
Oh wow.
Maya Washington, and I've always admired that brand because the branding, the packaging is so strong. It's so strong. It's so refreshing, and the products themselves work so well. So those are a few. Yeah, those are a few that are like the standout brands for me that we've had our eye on for a while, and getting them over the line and into the box, or like our advent calendars or through our events, was significant.
Why have you never launched a product?
It's a great question that I get asked all of the time.
Yeah.
And for me, one, I love the range and the experience of exploring so many other brands and products, because I know that product discovery for me is such an exciting thing. I was having a conversation yesterday with a guy, and he was like, why, like, surely you have your lineup of products that you use. And I was like, well, no, like if a new product comes out,
You want to try it?
I want to try it. Like, I'm curious. And so I know that product discovery is such a huge thing. I don't feel like there's a shortage of brands. I don't feel like there's a shortage of good brands, but I think there's a shortage of impactful marketing that speaks to community. And so it's like, which problem do I want to solve? Because the former I don't necessarily see as a problem right now. Maybe I will in the future. But as of right now, I'm really passionate about connecting brands with community and creating those experiences for both the brand and consumers.
Sure,
Yeah. As I said, things may change. I'm never going to say never.
Okay. I'll keep my eyes open. No, this has been good. There's just so much. You have so much knowledge. I'm just like, okay, what do I want to know next? What would you say? So you mentioned about marketing being, I guess, an issue that a lot of brands face. Connecting with their community. So what would you say you've noted are an issue, I guess, for maybe business owners like myself in the beauty space? What are we missing in terms of connecting with our community that you do so well?
I think connecting with community is a full-time job, and it takes a lot of time. So I have a lot of grace for Black-owned brands that are starting up zero funding, because you don't have the same resources as the big brands to play with. But I also think that there's a massive advantage of being Black-owned and being a founder-led brand, because you're able to essentially be yourself and find your people just by telling your story. I think the downside is mainly capital and resources. Like, sampling is so effective. I was on a flight last month with BA, and in the little welcome pack, there was this lip balm. As soon as that thing finishes, I'm going to buy it because it's so good. But again, I wouldn't have sought it out in the market. And that's why I continue to stand behind our subscription boxes, because a lot of people, and they say this to us, wouldn't have tried products had they not tried them through our boxes. And we've even got a stat for that. 75% of our subscribers say that they wouldn't have tried products unless they discovered them through our box. And so some brands, that's like groundbreaking, because it's like, oh wow, if I hadn't worked with you, these people wouldn't even know we existed. And for other brands, it's like people knew we existed, but they still didn't trust us until we done this box. So sampling is so important, but obviously it's not a cheap thing to do. And so I think the best thing for Black-owned brands, small budgets, is to lead with your founder, lead with your brand story, and to lead with in real life experiences. And it doesn't have to be like this elaborate home of TT. It can be like, I love the events that you're doing, but it doesn't even have to be that scale. It could be like a lot smaller scale, like just invite your first 10 customers to a coffee shop and like have a connection with them there, have a moment with them there. And these things don't scale, but they do pay huge dividends when it comes to like brand equity, connection to the brand, and the legacy and the loyalty of your potential customers.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one thing you didn't mention, I remember listening to you. I listened to all your podcasts, interviews.
I need to bring it back soon.
I know you do. I remember you mentioned that, I don't know if you still do it now, but you pick up the phone and call customers. Back. And I implemented that to today.
Love that.
Customers had a really terrible experience. Because of Royal Mail, not me.
It's always the couriers.
I mean, I will pick up the phone. Like, I am so sorry. If they're like a new customer, or it's been extra treacherous, I'll pick up the phone and call. And that's something that always sat with me when you said it.
You can do everything that you can. So for us, all of our boxes are packed with love. It even says packed with love. There's tissue paper, there's stickers. We seal up the box beautifully. Depending on what's going on that month, we might even put on a sleeve and put it in a postage bag. But yet still, once it gets into that Royal Mail, DPD, every van, and it gets thrown about, there's like, some things are just beyond your control. If something bursts. But ultimately, that's a terrible experience for the customer, because they've been waiting for the product and now it's come and it's not in a good way. And the most important thing is to take accountability. I always tell my customer service team that if someone is upset, you just need to make them happy. Like, it's not for us to defend ourselves. That's not the opportunity. Once you take ownership, I think you have a really unique opportunity to build trust, ask for further feedback, and build rapport with that person, and just correct it.
Yeah.
And I think that's another underestimated way that, as you said, is low cost, but pays huge dividends to building your community. Because they're then going to tell their friends like, oh, initially I had a bad experience, but they corrected it and the customer service team was lovely. So I'm looking forward to my next.
Yeah, definitely. I've had experiences where I've had terribly angry emails from customers.
Oof.
And I've been like, you know what? They're very upset. I'm going to call. And then the tone just changes. I'm like, hi, this is Kay from Kia. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And then it's just like, we'll end up kikiing by the end of the call.
Yeah. I think people forget that there's a person behind it all.
Person. Yeah.
And yeah, people just forget that it's a person.
Yeah.
And I think we've even joked about this all the time, that it's like, it's products that we're selling. We're not selling like hot, like life-saving products. It's not medication. It's nothing that's going to save your life. It's just going to improve your life.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember that as a business owner, because it's like, okay, this person's upset, but it's just emotion that is maybe heightened by something else that's probably not even related to this. But ultimately, they've trusted you to give them experience or provide them with a product that's going to improve their lifestyle in some respect. And so we just need to be empathetic and speak to them directly. And as you said, remind them that we're human. I've done something similar maybe 2 months ago, where I reached out to some old customers and I was like, hey, I've got this idea, thinking of working on this. What do you think? And I got so many emails back like, wow, I can't believe that you emailed me. Oh, wow. And I was like, why would I not? Like, if I'm going to email anyone, it's my customers, because without customers, your business doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone that I want to double down on and whose advice I actually care about, it's those people.
Yeah. I was actually thinking, this is like confirmation for me, because I was thinking of having like a kind of Zoom call chat with, it's fine, I'll share my idea, with customers that have been, because I've got customers that have been around since 2020.
Love it.
Some since 2019.
Yeah.
I really want to make sure they feel as treasured as they are for me.
Yeah.
It's like, I see the names, I know the names when they pop up.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking of different ways to build that, strengthen that relationship. So
yeah.
That's a good idea. I like that.
It is. And people are so open, and it was like a demo, probably going to launch it in like 2 weeks. But I said like, hey, I'm going to like, if you're up for it, try it, give me your feedback. Oh. They emailed back with like, hey, this is how I think it should be different. This is what I think you should do. And I was like, brilliant. Thank you. How else would I know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good. No, I love that. Share some more gems. What do you think because credit where credit's due, you guys have been around, it's going
to be 10 years in November, which is insane.
A decade.
A decade.
You've been around for a decade.
Yeah.
How many Black-owned brands started by a young female, independent of anyone else, has been able to survive?
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
And survive well. Like,
yeah.
Even I know that there's always this storms, trials, but you guys seemingly have thrived throughout. You've been honest. I know there was a few issues like during lockdown, that period of
lockdown was tough.
But it's like to hold yourself so well throughout 10 years.
Oh, thank you.
It's no small feat at all.
Yeah.
So let us know. Like, what are your core, what am I trying to ask you? What are your core pillars when it comes to building a brand?
That's a great one. The foundation for me has to be community.
Sure.
And it sounds like really cliche now because all of the big brands want community. But really early on, I learned that big brands and big retailers are aggressive. They'll see you do something and they can execute it 10 times better because they've got 10 times more money. And I really quickly learned that the only thing that they can't steal from me is the relationship that I have with my community. And the relationship and the rapport that we've built with Black women's majority here in the UK. And the relationship that we have with them is so unique. They can't steal that. Anything else they can steal. Like, there's brands that have an identical box to us. There's brands that will launch the equivalent of our box. Like, there's brands that they will rip off anything that they can. And the only thing that they can't is community, because it's so grassroots and it takes a lot of time. And that's one of the things that I don't I definitely have got like frustrated with myself in the past where it's like, oh, this is taking so long, or I thought I would have been here by now. But one of the things that I've really come to learn is that like good things take time. And two, when it comes to building something really, really authentic, really powerful and really significant, time is also just you paying dividends. Like the fact that it's taken us 10 years or the fact that we've been around for 10 years is important because one, we've continued to grow and evolve, and two, we've been able to build relationships with customers throughout different seasons of their lives. When we first started, we've done something called the teen experience. Now the girls that done the teen experience are like mid to late 20s, and I'm like, what is going on? But again, these are women who are in our ecosystem and we've had an impact on their lives. And so I think like not rushing the process is super important, especially in the internet age when if you allow yourself to scroll for long enough, you'll see that everyone's winning, apparently. But in reality, everyone's just putting one foot in front of the other. And really the people that are winning are just the people that don't stop showing up. And I think for me, it was like, I'm not going to stop showing up. Like this thing has to work and we have to make a difference and things need to change. And having something that is beneath the surface, that is internal, that's driving you is paramount because it's hard, it's ugly, it's tiring, it's frustrating, it's draining. And it would be so much easier to just go and get a job, really. But there has to be something that's pulling you and that's driving you. The hilarious thing is that when I started TreasureTress, I started it with my niece in mind because my brother said he was having his first daughter with his partner. And my first thought was, oh my God, I hope she doesn't hate her hair as much as I hated my hair at her age. And then when he had her, I started building TreasureTress. And from day one, she's been at like every single photo shoot. Last year, she was able to be the main character for our Channel 4 TV ad with Judy Love. And my mum took her for lunch the other day and she was like, you know, Maya said that when she's older, she's just going to work in your business. And I was like, wow, so my business has got to stick around long enough that I can employ my niece and pass the business down to her. And that for me was really significant because it's like, wow, you started this to help women take better care of their hair. But I think unintentionally, we've also helped so many women in business and we've helped so many young girls see what's possible. Even the girls from the teen experience, so many of them have launched beauty businesses and they're like, hey, can I send you samples? Can you give me feedback? It's like, wow, this is actually so much bigger than me. And that's something that I really wanted for my life. Like I didn't want my life to be in vain. And yeah, I wanted them to be evidence that existed. And I think that business is a really powerful way for there to be evidence of your existence, but also a way for you to help and impact other people.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I mean, I'll be rewatching this a few
But I think life experience plays into this a lot. And that's another thing that I think time is such a gift for that reason. Because there's been so many life changes for me in the last 10 years. Even before I started TreasureTress, when I was at university, I lost one of my friends to suicide. And that for me was a really big like mindset shift and wake up call for me because I just felt like, oh my God, like she was such a good person. And when someone you love passes away, you're like trying to cling on to things of them and you want to hear from them. You want to like see how they express themselves. You want the videos, you want the pictures. And this is like pre-social media. So there wasn't like, I had some like pictures that we had taken on digital cameras and that was pretty much it. And I remember Googling her name and like so many other people were coming up and I just used to get so frustrated because I was like, the weird thing about death is that when someone passes away, like the world goes on. And for me, it was like, not only is the world going on, but I can't see any evidence that she existed. So right now she exists in my memory and that's it. And I just felt like I want to make sure that I live as big as possible on behalf of her so that I can make sure that there is some kind of footprint or at least some kind of shift, even if it's ever so slightly in an industry that I care about, so that there's proof of existence. And some of it is a little bit egotistical, I guess, but a lot of it is also just understanding that by showing up, you're also empowering so many other people, which is why I'm always harping on about women being visible and being the face of your brand and speaking out and championing your brand, because it's not only for you, it's also giving other people permission to do the same.
Yeah, definitely. That was very powerful.
Oh, thank you.
Something you said about being the face of your brand. I remember.
Yeah.
So I I've known about TreasureTress
Yeah.
since the early days.
You have indeed.
I feel like there was a shift because, yes, we always knew you were Jamelia,
Yeah.
you were the founder, but I might be wrong, you can correct me. I don't feel like you were as forward-facing. I feel like that definitely developed over time. So what brought you to that realization?
At the beginning, I didn't want to be. Because when I was meeting with brands, there was one meeting in particular that really shook my confidence and made me feel like, oh, this is like, you're not going to hear what I'm saying. You're just going to see me. And that was a meeting where I was meeting with a brand and I was like, hey, this is what we do. Like, this is a pitch deck, walking them through the pitch deck. And then the guy was like, do you model? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh, you should be the model for your brand. And I was like, that's fine. But like, I want to talk about the contract and I want us to lock this in. And that just made me feel like, oh, am I just being seen as a little girl as opposed to a businesswoman? And so for that reason, I was like, do you know what? If I'm just behind the scenes, I can't be judged on what I look like. And you can't use stereotypes to paint me in a certain way. You're just going to have to see the proof that is in the pudding and just see what I produce. Like, judge me by my fruits and that's it. You don't have to see me. And that was fine. I guess it worked. And then, if I'm being honest, it's mainly my team that I'm now like, Jamelia, we need more content. Like, we need you to do more content. We need you in front of the camera. And I'm like, okay, cool. I feel a lot more confident now. And I do think it's the shift that took place quite intentionally once we started putting out the data reports, where I was coming to the forefront, but I had a new level of confidence because now at this point, I know what I'm talking about. And I've got the numbers, I've got the data, I've got the experience. Whereas at the beginning, I didn't have the experience. I actually didn't know what I was doing. And I was just figuring it out as I went along. So I just didn't have the confidence to be that visible. Now that I look back, I'm like, that could have been part of the journey. I could have taken people along with me. I could have captured it. But at the time, I was just like, I need to figure out how to source boxes and send them out to people and figure out logistics.
Yeah, definitely. Have you noticed a shift with the brand since you did start becoming more visible?
Yeah, for sure. I think like client relationships, brand relationships have become a lot more intentional. Okay. Like, it's clear who we are, what we do, how we operate. And yeah, I feel like we've been going for long enough, which again, I think pays, which validates the importance of like tenacity, is that brands also know that we're not going to try something and if it flops, then we're going to disappear and abandon. Like, we don't do that. Like, we'll try something. If it works, great, we'll keep doing it. If we try something and it doesn't work, we'll ditch it and we'll just do something else. Yeah. And that, again, that's another advantage, I guess, of just being around long enough to fail, but also long enough to figure out what works and keep doing it. And I think people really respect when you're tenacious and you just keep showing up. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, this has been so good. Before we change gears, I'm trying to think, what else do I want to know for my own personal? No, that I think you've given us a lot of gold, not even just gems.
Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that.
What are your plans for TreasureTress, I guess, for the rest of 2025? How are you celebrating 10 years?
Well, we're doing it big.
Yeah, of course.
The 10th celebration is going to be something completely different to what we've done before. It's going to be back in London because we kept getting all of the London girlies complaining. Every day Birmingham, every day Manchester. But we're back in London at the end of the year to celebrate 10 years of TT. It's going to be a different event of its kind in that it is, I think our events have always been family friendly, but we've never intentionally catered to the whole family. Okay. And so this is a really exciting way for us to do that. It's going to be a 3-day experience, family friendly. It's going to be a really, really big cultural moment. And my intention is that it becomes an annual event every single year in the calendar. And so that's probably one layer of the celebration. We're also gearing up for another TV ad, which is really exciting. Yeah, to increase visibility once more. And then activations wise, we're just thinking about how do we continue to innovate in the product discovery space? Sure. And so there's a few things that we're trying for the rest of this year so that when we get into our 10th year, we can really dominate.
Yeah. I mean, is there anyone else left?
I mean, There's just so many things that, there's so many things that I want to do. And I feel like with the relationships that we have and with what we know about consumers, I just feel like this, it feels like I'm just getting started, if I'm being honest. It doesn't feel like, oh, it's nearing the end and I've done everything I possibly can. It feels like, wow, this is really exciting. We've got so much information. We've got so much experience. We've got so much data. How do we take this to the next level?
Powerful.
Yeah.
What about personally, for your personal brand?
Oh, for my personal brand. So this is the year that I declined all of my panel invitations. Yeah, I said that I didn't want to do panels anymore because I wanted to challenge myself to being a keynote speaker only. And I feel like interesting things happen when you start saying things out loud, because I was talking to my friend Raphael Sofaluk, and who runs UK Black Business Show. And I remember saying to him, like, oh, I don't think I'm going to do panels anymore. Like, I just want to do keynote. And he was like, okay, cool. So should I book you for the show? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then it was the morning of the launch event. And I was like, hold on a minute. I don't have any information about who else is going to be speaking. And then I checked the agenda and I was like, oh, wow, I'm doing the opening and the closing speech.
Opening and the closing.
On the day of, I realised. And
did you get so far?
It was Black History Month and I was speaking like back to back. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to write a speech and deliver it. And I was like, wow, I was so nervous, but equally the response and the feedback that I got was so positive. And I was like, do you know what? I think I can do this. And panels don't challenge me. Like, I don't get nervous. I don't get butterflies. And I get a little bit bored, if I'm being honest. I'm more interested in listening to the other person than I am speaking. So I was like, I'm not challenging myself in that respect. Like, once upon a time, it was so scary for me to be visible. It was so scary for me to sit on a panel. I was like thinking about like, how are my legs? Like, I was overthinking everything and I'd be so terrified, but I wasn't getting those feelings anymore. So I was like, okay, now I need to go to the next level, because I've surpassed the nerves that come there. Now I need to experience the nerves of the next level. So I was like, okay, doing the opening and closing speech, that was nerve-wracking for me. Like, I was scared. So let me do more of that so that I can become better at it. So I told my assistant that anyone that comes through this year, decline panels. I don't want to do panels. I just want to do keynotes. So I've done 2 so far. And it's been good. I'm doing one next month in America, which will be great. Wow. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do with this. And I've also realized that I've got such a passion for Black owned beauty brands. With all of the information that I have from working with over 250 beauty brands, full stop. Wow. I just want to figure out how I can do more to teach, learn, and help more. Yeah. So I'm still figuring out like what the format for that is going to be, okay, sure. But I definitely want to do something with that intel. Yeah. But as far as challenging myself, it's the keynote talks, the keynote speeches.
Amazing. I look forward to watching what's to come.
Yes, I got an intense month of preparation, but I'm excited to deliver it. And I love speaking in America because the audience give you the energy. Like, they're so vocal, and Americans are so hungry to learn, and I miss that. Okay, yeah. Because throughout the early years of TreasureTress, I spent a lot of time in the States. Post-COVID, I haven't done so as much, but now I'm intentionally doing that more because like the hunger to learn exists in America because there's no NHS, there's no safety net, the government is not supporting you. Yeah. Whereas here, I think we do have we're a little bit more complacent, and I need to be back in the energy of being hungry and like wanting more knowledge, wanting to learn new things. So I'm particularly excited for that.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. So now I'm ready. Changing gears slightly.
Yes.
What does self-care mean to you?
Oh, self-care didn't mean anything to me a few years ago, if I'm being honest. COVID, that went out of the window because there was so many factors to consider. I was like, the business was doing really good, but I was worried about everything. Like, I was worried about products getting stuck on the other side of the Atlantic. I was worried about having to close the warehouse because someone contracted COVID. I was worried about people's families on my team who like people on my team whose families had COVID, like how they were dealing with it, and equally like managing them showing up in the business. And there were just so many different dynamics that I know that for that season, I just neglected myself. And even the other day I was looking at a picture and I was like, wow, my skin looked so bad because I just wasn't taking care of myself. And I was actually speaking, I guess I could describe her as a mentor, like a friend mentor that I met with yesterday. And she was basically expressing the same, that as a female leader, we're naturally really maternal, which means that you really care about other people. Yeah. But a lot of the time it does mean that you forget about yourself. And so for me, therapy and coaching have really helped me remember that, like, if I'm not okay, then the business is really not going to be okay. Yeah. Like, as much as there are systems and there are processes, in order for me to be able to work my magic, I actually need to be okay as a person. Yeah. And so for me now, I think once you hit 30, I think things really, really change. And
the
energy changes. Do you know what? I'm not even going to say the joints. But the energy shifts where it's like, rah, like it really is me. Yeah. Like I really have to take care of me. And as much as people love you and they care about you, everyone cares about themselves first. Yes. So you also have to care about yourself first. So self-care for me looks like that. Like the first question is like, am I okay? Am I okay? If not, what can I do to change it? And what I realized is that, like, if my niece was to, like, if I was to take one of my nieces out for the day and they said they weren't okay and they told me why, I would immediately try to fix it. Whereas in the past, I know that I've not been okay, but I haven't tried to rectify what the issue is. So now I'm like, okay, am I okay? No. Okay. I feel a bit drowsy this morning. Okay. What do I need? Some coconut water. Let me go to the gym. Let me eat something healthy and light for breakfast. And so I'm like remedying the issues that way. Yeah. And then the cute things are like skincare and hair care. Like I love skincare. I love hair care. Beauty really, yeah, I love beauty. Like I love getting dressed up. I love taking care of my skin. I love doing my hair. I love wash day. Those things really, really help me.
I love it. So self-care to you is taking care of you first.
Absolutely. Like self-care, I feel like it's language that gets thrown around a lot. Yeah. But I feel like even over the past couple of months, I've truly understood what it means to care for yourself. Yeah. And it's like in the same way you would care for a baby or you would care for a younger sibling, a child, a niece, nephew, a pet. Like you also have to care for yourself. Yeah, literally. Because if your dog was ill, you would take it to the vet. Whereas like we will actually have a migraine for days and ignore it instead of like going to see the doctors or like finding some medication. So it's, yeah, I think it's like undoing cultural patterns that we possess as Black women, which is like we're used to seeing mums just push through. And I even saw, this wasn't a Black woman, but there was a sprinter that I came across on Instagram and she was running a marathon and she was having a nosebleed. And there was literally blood all over her face and all over her top. And she made it to the finish line and she still finished gold. And everyone was celebrating her. And I was thinking, there's something quite morbid about this. Like, why are we celebrating the fact that
she didn't stop?
She didn't stop. And she could have died. And if she had died, what would have been the narrative then? But now she's a hero because she's running around with blood on her face. No. And I think that could be a metaphor for so many other things. So I'm like, let me just pause, get a tissue, and then continue the marathon, as opposed to like trying to persevere and win a gold with blood all over my face. Honestly, I can't come and kill myself. So yeah.
No, definitely. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I didn't see that, but
it was really disturbing. Yeah.
Okay, you've had a really stressful day. You've been meeting to meeting, running around. You get home. What are you doing to relax?
Shower first. Shower, skincare, sheet mask. And then I think it depends like where I am. Like if I'm at a hotel, maybe read. Okay. If I'm at home, maybe watch something.
Okay,
I've been wanting...
Or non-fiction, or what are we watching?
I'm a sucker for documentaries, and I absolutely love history. I've got this really weird obsession with war.
Oh, wow.
I love history, and like I'm so fascinated by the world wars. But as you said, it's to de-stress, so that shouldn't be my choice. I've really been wanting to watch Forever on Netflix.
Yeah.
I'm like saving that for Friday so that I can watch that. But outside of that, something like light and mindless, but it doesn't happen often. Yeah. If it's like a weekend and like I still feel quite stressed, I love some Sarah Jakes Roberts. Like I feel like if I start my morning and I watch her, then I'm like, okay, cool. I can get myself together. I can take a moment and I can do something nice for myself and move on from there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
We're not eating, drinking.
Nah. Drinking, no. I only really, if I'm on holiday and it's my birthday and I'm having the time of my life, Okay. But outside of that, I'm just staying hydrated. And then eating, I'm not really a comfort eater.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I feel like once upon a time I was, but at the moment I'm not. No, I'm not really, because I just don't like the way it makes me feel. Okay. Like in the moment I love it, but then the next day I don't love it. Yeah. So
when you're in the gym, you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah, or even when I just feel like sluggish, like that actually wasn't worth it. I do love eating out though. Like I love a good restaurant. So. Or Caribbean, that's cool. And then I love Thai, I love Mexican, I love Japanese. Now I love Ghanaian apparently. And I'd say that those are my favorite cuisines. Okay. So if I am finished, like me and one of my friends, we've got such a good bond. Like we don't need to say. We just know that the other person's ready. Let's go catch up. Let's book a restaurant. Let's eat, and then we will unpack. Okay, sure. And we even done one like for lunchtime yesterday, and I was like, "Wow, this is great! Like we're just here. Like we just know eating and unpacking." So restaurants are my guilty pleasure. I'd say that's probably what I do in place of comfort eating, which is kind of comfort eating, I guess. Yeah.
No, perfect. Thank you so much for coming down and speaking to us.
You are welcome.
For us.
I hope it's been helpful, but it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Before you go, can you please let the audience know what your key takeaway is, your mantra for life?
I think my key mantra for life is probably create the things you wish existed, because I always just think that things aren't accidental. Because like I can walk into a room and I can spot something that needs to be picked up or changed. You can walk into a room, the exact same room, and not notice it, and maybe notice something different. And I just don't think that things happen accidentally. I think it's like the way that we're created is really intentional. And so I feel like the things that we see as voids in the world, that is our message, that's our gift, that's our assignment to fix that. And so I feel like if we truly all paid attention and everyone like operated from that space, I feel like the world would be a much, much better place. And I feel as though in doing so, you're inherently creating a better world for the people that are coming behind you. So my mantra is definitely create the things that you wish existed.
Amazing. Perfect. I love it. What a beautiful way to wrap up.
Thank you. What's yours?
Oh no. I've been getting ideas from everyone, so I don't really have like a solid. Something I always say to myself is you can only do what you can do. Because a lot of the times I get overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God.
But you do a lot. I actually don't know how you do it. And I think that's also what's so important about entrepreneurship, and it's the curse of comparison, because I don't have kids yet. Okay. And if I did have kids, my life would probably look really different. When I see women like you who have a husband, children, a business, a podcast, a product business in that, I'm like, how the hell are you doing it? And it actually motivates me, because I'm like, Jamelia, you ain't got half of them responsibilities. Like you can actually just make things happen. So you really can only do what you can do, but you do a lot. So I think it's worth acknowledging that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Children. I mean, enjoy this season.
That's one thing that I do. That's one thing I am doing. Like all of my cousins, all of my friends are like, enjoy it, and I truly am. But equally, I look forward to enjoying that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
they're a joy. No, this has been so good. I'm so glad we finally got you.
Yes,
on the podcast.
me too.
Next, I'm just thinking, okay, cool. So when I know I have to reach out
Mhm.
for an event, it has to be a keynote. The
Yes.
budget has to be budgeting.
Yes.
No problem. She said yes.
I said yeah. I'll be honest.
No, this has been so good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. I've been encouraged. I've been re-inspired.
Good. I'm happy to hear that. I look forward to watching it back.
Yeah, I hope you guys also enjoyed the conversation. If you did, let us know in the comment section what your key takeaway was, or if you have any questions. We'd love to keep the conversation going there. Jamelia, let us know where we can find you online.
For sure. So you can find me on Instagram at Jamelia is obsessed. That's JAMELIA is obsessed. And then you can follow TreasureTress. That's TreasureTress, TRESS on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever. And I'm usually quite active on LinkedIn as well. And my name's just Jamelia Donaldson on LinkedIn, and Jamelia is obsessed on TikTok.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
What would you say has been the best social media platform currently for TreasureTress?
Instagram.
Really? Over TikTok?
Yeah, I don't feel like we've cracked TikTok the way that I want us to crack it.
Okay.
So like we're ramping things up this quarter for TikTok, but Instagram's where we started. I literally launched it on Instagram, and it's been home to our community. So yeah, I would say for us, TikTok, Pinterest. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Pinterest has been killing it for us.
Yeah.
So I again, it goes down to that thing of like the curse of comparison. Everyone hears TikTok and everyone runs there, but everyone's audience is unique. Everyone's audience is different, and they live in different places.
Yeah.
And then for my personal brand, you said?
Yeah.
I'd say an equal split between Instagram and TikTok.
Okay, sure.
I'm used to using Instagram, so I use it more like naturally. But I've had good conversations and good opportunities come from both platforms. Okay. Yeah.
That was for myself because I'm trying to.
Oh wait, hold on. LinkedIn though.
I enjoy LinkedIn.
LinkedIn does this thing. LinkedIn does this thing as far as thought leadership and positioning yourself.
Yeah.
And then Instagram is good for like imagery and like refining your personal brand from an aesthetic standpoint. And then TikTok, I think, is good for like connection, because people on TikTok are,
that makes sense.
I think it's a lot more emotive and it's a lot less pretentious than Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Food for thought. All three.
Basically.
No, this has been good. So see, gems from beginning to end.
Gosh, I hope so.
I could go on. So thank you guys for
Thank
tuning
you.
in. Be sure to like the video and also subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We have
Absolutely.
episodes every single Sunday.
Love it.
But yeah, other than that, take care, stay blessed, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Love it. Bye.